going on, you guys? It's your boy Evan, and you know what's up to no good. So today we're actually going to be changing out the oil on the black Jag because it is due for an oil change. And it's actually past the interval where I normally change the oil. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to show you guys how to change the oil, what kind of oil you use, show you a little bit of tips and tricks, and just go from there. So it's a pretty simple process. So let's get to it. Alright guys, as you guys can tell, we got we got, what's the size? 5 quarts or 2 quarts of 5. We got 2 bottles of 5 quarts, so 10 quarts altogether. I think the Jag takes about 7 to 8 quarts, so I usually buy 2 cases of 5 quarts. And I use Valvoline, I've used Mobil 1, Pennzoil, Castor Edge or Casserole Edge, whatever it's called. I've used those brands before. I don't have a specific brand, but I always stick to full synthetic 5W30. I have STP filter, and the number on it is S5618. I have a whole bunch of oil filters in the garage, so I was able to find these 2 bottles on Amazon for pretty low price, about I think $22 each one, so not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and change them out. So I just want to show you guys real quick what kind of oil I use, type of filter I'm using, and pretty much go from there. So let's change the oil. guys, so we're on top of the car, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna use some Valvoline 5W30 synthetic motor oil. As you guys saw on the bottom of the vehicle, I removed the oil filter by hand. Usually you're supposed to put it on by hand, and if needed you can use one of these, which is an oil filter wrench, and it goes onto it and you just basically helps you to pull it off. I mean, in other words, remove the oil filter, or to tighten it. If you need to use this, the part number is OEM 25370. I usually hand tighten it just enough where it's snug. Put a little bit of oil on top of the O-ring of the oil filter, put it on, and just clean the surface when you go to put it on. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty simple trick that I do, is just hand tighten it. If you need to, you can write the mileage of when you change the oil last. So if you change it at, let's say, 50, you can put 50 on it, so you have an idea of when you last changed the oil filter. But I usually write it down on my phone, so I have everything kept, so I know where or when to change the oil filter. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna use some Valvoline full synthetic 5W motor oil. I usually use different brands. I'm not particular to a specific brand. I've used Mobil 1, Castrol Edge, Valvoline, Pennzoil. So whatever you find that's on a good price and it fits your pocket's budget, go ahead and use it. We're gonna throw this in and start the car up and see how it goes. Alright guys, so we just ended up doing this side. I forgot to hit the record button and I left it on pause, so you didn't see me doing the other side, but it's pretty much the same as the other side. So you got a glimpse of, you know, what I do. So you basically have to rotate the tires from front to back or back to front, so this way they get evenly worn out all around. So in other words, the front tires get worn out more than the back, so that's why you rotate the front ones to the back and the back to the front, so they get worn out evenly. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's finish up and get right to it.
Rendezvous. Rendezvous.
Alright guys, so as you guys can tell, I just ended up torquing down the wheels. Now if you guys are wondering what the foot-pounds is, it's 110 foot-pounds. I always torque them down with a torque wrench. I do them in a star pattern to make sure they do not get over tightened and unevenly torqued down or tightened down. I never use a gun because the gun, yeah, can definitely do a lot of damage if you don't know how much pressure you're using. And yeah, especially if these things get tightened too much and there's rust on the threads, or if it's cold out and there's no NTCs on them, they can get real stuck on there and it's hard to come off. So I torque them down. It's the right thing to do. So it's 110 foot-pounds. Use a torque wrench, get them nice and torqued to the right spec, and you shouldn't have any issues. So that's what I did. So that's the foot-pounds to remember, 110. Whenever you do the change from front to back, where you change the wheels, I mean not change the wheels, but you rotate the tires, definitely consider that when you're changing those tires. What's going on, you guys? As you guys saw, we just ended up changing the oil, we rotated the tires, and we also torqued them down to 110 foot-pound. Now this was a pretty straightforward install. We just changed the motor oil at the required interval, which was at 5,000 miles. That's what I usually do it. You guys can do it up until 7,500 miles or 10,000 miles, but I feel like that's pushing it because the oil does get a good bit of brown in color. So I think 5,000 is a good start. If you guys want to do 6,000, you change it at 6,000 miles or 7,000 miles or 7,500 miles. Anything more than that, I think it's pushing it really, because you're circulating all that dirty colored fluid in the motor all throughout. I know it's capable of lasting up until 10,000. That's what they say, but I really wouldn't push it. I'd rather spend some money, change it at a little bit earlier time, and make sure everything is running well and you got fresh fluid always circulating in the motor. So that's pretty much it. Definitely consider using full synthetic, a good oil filter, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. It was a pretty straightforward install, and with that being said, guys, I'll definitely be catching you in the next video.